If you ever felt that dating apps were completely rigged against you, you're right. I have irrefutable proof about this. I did an experiment where I spent $500 proving this fact for you guys so you guys can uninstall your dating apps completely. And even though they're completely rigged and terrible and awful, this shouldn't concern you at all because there's a new platform that's going to replace it. I predict by 2026 that dating apps will be completely dead. Gen Alpha, this new generation, which is actually really beta, the men and the women are completely fed up with dating apps. But like I said, it shouldn't concern you because there's a new platform that's going to replace it. So we're going to talk about some data about why dating apps are so shit. I'm not going to bore you with the data. I mean, you guys know, right? It's at least a 7-to-1 ratio, as bad as a 10-to-1 ratio. Men have like a less than 1% match rate, while women have like a 75% match rate, yada, yada, yada. Let's get into my experiment. So I rarely use dating apps. Most of the girls that I meet come from Instagram. And whatever, I just wanted sometimes, because the one advantage that dating apps have over meeting a girl on Instagram is that the process of meeting them to a date can be a little bit quicker. And I was traveling so much, I wasn't going to be in the city. I'm like, look, maybe I can just kind of screen for like a horny girl who come like, straight over from a dating app. Versus Instagram, the quality of the girls are higher. But, well, I guess that gave it away. That's the new app that's going to replace dating apps. Fuck. All right, I already gave it away, but we're going to talk about how to use it, why it's better, why there's way less competition, why there's way less ghosting, and how you can automate a lot of the process using virtual assistants. So stick around. But back to my experiment. So let's throw up the screenshots of all my matches on Tinder. My dear editor, Mo. So I rarely use them, but I already explained why I was using them. I wasn't going to be in that city for very long and wanted something quick. And I was getting boosts. It's like $5 to buy a boost on Tinder. So I'll buy a boost because ain't nobody got time to swipe through apps. That's why I use virtual assistants, automation, the same way a business can buy a list of leads. I put the lead generation aspect of dating on autopilot for myself through a lot of the systems we're going to talk about, and virtual assistants will come up later. But staying focused on this experiment, got a lot of matches for a $5 boost. Then what happened like magic is the matches just stopped. They just completely stopped, okay? And I was like, that's funny. Same profile, same city, same photos, nothing changed. Is it the time of day? Okay, I'm going to boost at like prime time. Nothing. The matches just completely stopped. And they kept bugging me for this super boost. So remind you, the normal boost I did for $5, and the super boost was like $80 or like 70, 80 bucks, something like that. I'm like, I wonder if they're putting me into a core. I wonder if they're testing me. I wonder if these nerds in Silicon Valley have put on their lab coats and they're testing me like a guinea pig. And they're saying, okay, can we get this schmuck to pay more money? We already know he'll buy boosts. And when he boosted, we did the ethical thing and gave him the product that he opted in for, that he bought, which is show his fucking profile to girls, okay? But then maybe we can get him to spend more. Maybe if he'll buy a $5 boost, maybe he'll, let's turn off the faucet and do the unethical thing, and let's only show him matches if he gets a super boost. And what do you think happened? I spend $70 on the super boost. Now all the matches start flooding in again, right? And a super boost is just supposed to be a regular boost that lasts longer. It's not supposed to be a distinctly different thing. It's just like a longer version of the boost. And then what'll happen, right? Then they'll eventually try to, sell me like Tinder Platinum for, $500 a month. Like they'll just keep, upselling you and upselling you and upselling you. And they are just completely rigged against you. Aside from the fact of, there's other things about dating apps that are really bad too, which we'll go through really quickly. The ratios are really bad. Dating apps only want to show women chads. The top, like a 23-year-old plastic surgeon who makes $500K a year in Miami, who's 6'5" and jacked. Like, if the apps aren't full of those types of guys, women won't use the apps. And it's funny. Remember I said how Gen Z or Gen Alpha, whatever, is fed up with dating apps? Men are fed up with dating apps because, again, according to the study, the men have a match rate of 2.6%. Seems high to me, but men have a match rate of 2.6%, and 80% of men don't get matches whatsoever. Men are fed up because they don't get matches, or certainly not matches with like the hot girls that I date. Let's show more B-roll of the girls that I date. Like, ain't nobody matching with girls like that on dating apps. Partially because of the way that they're rigged against you, the competition, and then partially because sometimes your profile isn't even being showing to them. And then the women hate dating apps because they all want that, 23-year-old plastic surgeon who's extremely dominant and a leader, yet very sensitive, and will also let them take the driver's seat. And he's a plastic surgeon, makes $500K a year, yet he's free to just do shit with them and take vacations and doesn't have, like, they want this paradox. I mean, you know how dating is in America. I ain't got to tell you that. So 10 to 30% of the profiles are fake. They're full of bots, OnlyFans scams, yada, yada, yada. It's just a very evil business model. I mean, I'm reading my notes here. Every time two people form a successful relationship, that's two customers they lost, right? I mean, it's kind of funny. I'm in the same business, right? Like I get fired for being successful. Like guys, my business is guys pay me to put their dating life on autopilot. I build, like, a business can like download a list of leads and then cold call the leads for you. And then when they got a hot person that's like, showing interest in buying your product, they can like transfer the live call to the business owner who builds websites, and you don't got to like find the list of businesses. You ain't got to cold call them. You just deal with like, hot phone calls. Yeah, I actually could use a website. They like transfer the live call, how businesses do like lead generation. I do that for clients. And since I get basically, I get fired for being successful too, the same way that like my clients fire me for getting unsuccessful. So I guess in the same way we're in slightly similar-ish game, right, where we get fired for being successful. So anyway, let's talk about the new platform. I already hinted at it. It is Instagram. It's funny. I talk to these girls that I meet on Instagram, and I'm like, you're so fucking beautiful. I mean, yeah, you saw the let's one more time. Let's just bombard them with, more of these beautiful girls on Instagram. And I'm like, so you don't use dating apps at all? Because like, I never see girls like you on dating apps. They're like, no, I don't use it at all. Well, no, that's a lie. I do use it sometimes. I'm like, well, explain. They're like, well, maybe like once or twice a year, if I get dumped by a guy that I really, really like, he just, stops calling me or whatever, and I have like really low self-esteem, or I feel ugly or undesirable, I'll go download Tinder and I'll just let, 10,000 men tell me I'm beautiful, offer to take me out, offer to take me on trips, offer to send me money, offer to pamper me, offer to spoil me. And it makes me feel really good. It just helps my self-esteem, but I never actually respond to them, and I never actually go out with them. And that like, ding, 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 like suspicion confirmed. For the few of you guys who do get some matches on dating apps, and even if they are kind of attractive, like, you guys know that I kind of like crashed out in like a rant about dating in Mexico and Guadalajara. That was the most frustrating dating market because like not getting any matches is kind of frustrating. Getting some matches, but the girls are kind of mid, is also frustrating. But the most frustrating thing is getting a lot of matches and the chicks aren't mid, they're beautiful, but they all just want to waste your time and use you for validation. And that's like the biggest thing I found, in Guadalajara. Actually, I found that, to be true, even somewhat true on Instagram, although it was a lot better. That was one case where, because not to get off on a tangent, the way dating works in Mexico, it's funny, like traveling around maybe like, I don't know, 60, 70 cities total now from all across the world, maybe over like 30 countries, is like an acid trip, because you get to see how dating actually works in every country. And in Mexico, again, I'm trying to make this like tangent very short, they would much rather date a fucking obese, disgusting guy from their social circle who's broke and short and ugly than a random guy from a dating app. It's weird. Like, in Colombia, Brazil, Paraguay, like all other like countries I've dated in, it's not weird to meet people on social media. It's not weird to meet someone through a cold approach, to go out with strangers. But in Mexico, it's pretty fucked. They're much more like, at least the really hot girls. Anyway, if you guys date ugly chicks, whatever, yada yada, your results, your mileage may vary. So, advantages of Instagram here. Let's put this comparison chart on the screen right now. I don't have it in front of me, but you guys are looking at some visual cue. But off the top of my head, it's like the ratio is way better on Instagram. It's more or less like a 1-to-1 ratio. The girls have better personalities. The girls are less flaky. There is less competition, and the girls are more beautiful. So think about what I said earlier, right? When you're on a dating app, you're in this algorithm where, again, they want a good user experience for the women primarily, partially because we're in like a matriarchal society, but men won't pay unless there's girls on the apps. Like they need, ironically, it's like the men pay for the dating apps and the women don't pay, yet they still cater to the women. Kind of like a nightclub, right? Like the clients spend money, the male clients buy bottle service, but the clubs do everything to market and attract the women, because you need women first, make them happy in order for the clients to come and to pay. So you're competing with a lot of Giga Chads, basically. And your profile is being buried, so they see those guys. But did you know that on Instagram, and this is like fucking key, so pay attention, your ears, attention, please, ears perking up. This is very important. Pay attention to what I'm going to say here. How many of you schmucks know how to find the beautiful girls in your city that aren't on dating apps, that have a small private Instagram profile? You have no idea how to do it. Even if you did know how to do it, to find 20 beautiful girls per day, because you need to run volume with this, is why I outsource it, which I'll talk about in a second. Even if you outsource this process, well, you guys don't. When you do it manually, if you even do it at all, which you don't, but even if you did, it would take you 30 to 40 minutes to find the required volume to hit up, 20 girls per day on Monday, 20 on Tuesday, 20 on Wednesday, 20 on Thursday, and get that volume. Because look, again, the one advantage of dating apps is you have that premise. Girls are, in theory, like all single, and what's that? Girls on Instagram, you have no idea if they have boyfriends. Again, their profile is private. You may be following girls based on a tiny photo. You think they were hot. Then they accept your request. You see the profile, and like, oh, she wasn't hot. So you follow a lot of girls that are ugly on accident that you didn't know were ugly because you're basing it on a tiny photo. You follow girls that it turned out didn't even live in the city that you thought they lived in, girls with boyfriends. So you have to run a lot of volume on it. And fuck if you're going to do that. Like if you just did that, if you just dedicated 30, 40 minutes to this, to finding the girls' profiles, you would have, and you need the good pictures, right? Like we talked about here. Well, we'll put up some like quick pictures of me. You need like, the high status photography. You see me like wearing blazers, social, with friends, podcasts, giving a speech, stuff like that. You need number one, you probably don't have the profile attractive. Number two, even if you did, let's say like the Giga Chatter does have a good profile. He's like crushing it on the apps. He's probably seeing 1% of the hot available single girls in the city because nobody has the strategy or the time to do the manual work. And actually, we have a solution so that the work of finding these girls' profiles doesn't have to be manual. Hey guys, back to the video in 10 seconds, I promise, but real quick, if you want a list of all the hottest girls in your area from Instagram so you can stop using dating apps, which are garbage, and meet hotter, more receptive, less flaky women on Instagram, then go to my Instagram page, which is RedbeardRants1, and DM me the word scraper, and I'll give you more information. All right, back to the video. Okay, as you just saw, shameless plug for my own service. This is part of the automation thing. So we have, a few ways of automating things, right? You can go to my Instagram, by the way, and message me the word Tiger, Tiger, Tiger. That will show you how I build the whole automated system. Again, it's like, if you're not an entrepreneur, it may not make sense to you, but again, it's about putting the lead generation aspect of dating on autopilot. You have the high status social media profile, which we talked about just a second ago. You have the lead list of all the hot girls in your city that we use AI and technology to scrape for you. That's the word, to aggregate, to put together, to find. I'm trying to use simple language so you guys who aren't tech nerds like me understand it. So we have the high status profile, the list of girls, and then copy and paste messages you can send to a virtual assistant. Now, it's very difficult and unrealistic to have a virtual assistant take you from first opening the girl all the way to a data schedule. Hey, just meet Brittany at I used to try to do that as my business. I mean, we did it successfully. We had to charge like 3 or 4K a month. It was only for VIP clients, and it was just hard to sell. And it was a really good service. If people actually did do the service, they stuck around for 6 months to a year doing it. We still do it for Myron Gaines actually. As our client now. So, but right now what I do is I mostly just train and place a VA in people's businesses, because the whole start the conversation and take it all the way to a date is impossible. It's not impossible. It's possible if you have a 3 or 4K a month, United States, high intelligence person doing this for you. And he really, he knows you after time. He knows what your favorite food is, what your taste in music is, all the details about your job and your day-to-day and what you do, and he can pretend to be you. But what's really cool is my VA can find the girls, open them, and then get me about 4 or 5 messages in. So think about it this way, right? If you were to spend 10 hours a week, which you probably spend more, you think you don't spend that much time, especially you busy, you think I'm in monk mode and I barely date. Unless you're actually a born again virgin, you probably spend at least 8 to 10 hours a week. So let's just call it 10 hours a week. I can probably get it down to about 3. I can probably cut out 70% because again, with my VA, I still got to chat to girls. I still get ghosted. I still get flaked on. but at least I'm able to cut that out by 70%. Because again, he finds the girls, he opens them, and he gets about 3 or 4 messages in following a script. And then from there, actually, let's put up another graphic too. Like my basic funnel is like open, light, easy, getting to know you questions like, what's your job? Or what are you looking for? What's your type? Followed by deeper questions like, what's your love language? Or what's your biggest goal in life? Followed by a close for a video call, followed by simmering, which just basically means keeping in contact. Now, there's a lot that goes into this. I don't ask these questions in a boring way. I don't say, hey, Tiffany, what's your job? I say, hey, Tiffany, so I see you're at the gym a lot, but your profile doesn't say anything about like school or a job. Do you work? Do you go to school, or are you just at the gym breaking hearts all day? So I'll send voice messages like that. And the reason why you do it in the order of like open, light questions, deep questions is because like imagine I meet a girl on Instagram. Hey, Veronica, the algorithm just recommended me to you, and hey, I guess, kudos to the algorithm. I guess it must really know my type. Hey, nice to meet you. Hey, you're not so bad yourself. How did you find my profile? Oh, it's the algorithm. Well, nice to meet you too. Yeah, nice to meet you. So what's your love language? It would be like, whoa. So I asked the light questions first. But anyway, I have a full copy and paste text message database, which, like I said, my Instagram is RedbeardRants1. You can message me the word tiger. Don't message the emoji or anything like that. I could talk about this more. I'll throw up some screenshots now. Mo, let's throw up the screenshots of like the follow backs where it's like on any given day, it's like 7, 8, 6, 7, 6. And by VA has a commission structure where it's like, for every girl that follows me back on Instagram that's qualified and hot, I give him $2. If he goes from a dating app to chatting with a girl on a dating app to then getting her Instagram, I give him $5, which barely happens because we don't use dating apps hardly at all. And then the other one is, I call it a handoff. If he finds a girl on Instagram, follows her, she follows back, he messages her, he gets about 4, 5, 6 messages in, and then he's like, okay, cool, like, she's like, a qualified hot lead and passes it off to me. I give him $15 for that, and we track everything. He is 100% commission based. If I don't go out with girls, then he doesn't eat. So I thought about everything with this, right? We used to struggle with this a lot because, like, here's another example of why the virtual assistant service wasn't like, the clients were happy with it, but like, if they're on like monthly wages, they just fuck up, they get lazy, and you would think like just like the threat of like not getting fired would like motivate them. It doesn't motivate them. They have to be commission based, or they just stop working. Fucking idiots. They have to be 100% commission based, so they literally see their money like stop coming in if they stop working. And the other thing is, it's mostly for business owners. Like if you're a 9 to 5, you probably can't like afford to live this type of lifestyle where you're dating really beautiful girls. They probably wouldn't stick around anyway. If you're a brokey, it just is what it is. Much less like to work with me, to get a virtual assistant, afford to pay them, get the nice photography, even take these girls on like, nice dates or travel. It'd be a passport. It's more expensive than what you think. Hey guys, back to the video in about 10 seconds. But first, if you want to get a photo shoot with me that led to amazing results for my buddy Alex, he actually got a hot Brazilian girlfriend within a week of doing his photo shoot with me, then go to my Instagram, RedbeardRants1, and DM me the word photo shoot. All right, back to the video. So seeing as most of our clientele are the entrepreneurs, the VA has to do something else in your business because you're inevitably going to need a break. You're going to have too big of a rotation. You're going to be dating too many girls. You're going to get in a fucking skiing accident and bend your dick for a 90 degree angle and have to put your dick on a splint and like straighten out your penis for whatever random reason. You get sick. It's Christmas vacation. You're going to want this virtual assistant to do something else for you in your business. Like my VA, in the times that I want to take a break from dating, he can just edit videos. He's also like a good video editor, so he can do 2 functions. If you're not a business owner, I don't know, maybe if you're into cooking, he can research recipes for you and, schedule the delivery on your Instacart app. Like, you got to find something else for them to do, whatever it is, there's always like he can, make travel plans for you. And there's always something. So we always make sure that the VA now has other things that they can do for you, and that they're 100% commission based. And again, just to summarize, right? Dating apps are trash. Fucking ratio sucks. The girls are there to just siphon free validation and free attention off you and not actually go out with you. They have very little interest in actually doing that. And just low quality looks and low quality personality. Instagram is better, but the manual process of finding them sucks. You need to get the lead list like we talked about earlier, and have a virtual assistant go through it and ideally talk to the girls for you. because no matter who you are, flaking and ghosting will always occur. We live in one of the interesting times in history where the respect of man virtually doesn't exist. Like men are just more or less just not respected by women. And it sucks. And they think they can just use us for our validation and our time, like our time isn't valuable. And if you're a busy entrepreneur, using this system and going from 10 hours a week down to 3 hours a week, if your hourly rate is even just $100 an hour, which is probably more than that, you just save $700 a week. In a month, what is that? $3K a month? In a year, you save $36,000 in terms of like hourly wages. And you just get more fun. You know, it just makes dating less frustrating, because it's really frustrating to match with girls or be talking to girls that are flaky. And when they're only handed off to you when you're 4 or 5, 6 messages in, it's like you just get to do the fun part, which is like seduce the girls that are pre-qualified and warm and brought to you warmed up, rather than just waste your time on the flaky ones. So if you want to know more about that, message me the word tiger on Instagram. Again, my username is redbeardrants1. There's also a link in the description of the video, and I hope you enjoyed. Peace.